Rita Selu Feldman. And then my sister Ruth Sa Akui here. And then our late brother Andrew Elpidio. So he's in heaven right now. So I have a few prepared remarks. Father, I wanted to tell you that we were all very moved because you did know our dad very well. You really described him beautifully and perfectly. So thank you for that. Okay. So I'm going to do my best right now to add to Manong Jr. With some prepared remarks. Honor thy father and thy mother. This is one of the 10 commandments in the Hebrew Bible. In the Gospels, Jesus affirmed the importance of honoring one's father and mother, memorialized by Paul's quotes of the commandment in his letter to the church. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is a right. Honor your father and your mother, and that it may go well with you, and that you may live long in the land. Duty, decency, reliability, honor, dignity, respect. These are all the qualities that my father not only held in high esteem, but lived every single day during his time God blessed him to be with each and every one of us for almost 9 decades. To know Dad is to truly love the man. As a son, a husband, a father and provider, a co-worker and a professional colleague, and as a dear friend. Today you will relive and rediscover how great of a man and human being Amancio Sosa Aguili Sr. is, and how blessed each and every one of us is to have had him in our lives. So Dad, I will do my level best today on behalf of my siblings and our entire family to honor you and perpetuate your legacy. Dad could be a serious and disciplined man, but he could never resist the opportunity to have a laugh with friends and loved ones every opportunity he had. Throughout Dad's lifetime, he experienced 15 different U.S. presidential administrations, beginning with President Herbert Hoover, all the way to our current president, Donald J. Trump. To me, Dad's finest qualities was his patience, an inherent ability to listen, to absorb, and to offer a point of view based on quiet, measured wisdom. You can talk to Dad about every subject, any subject, because he basically traveled the world and experienced so much in a very fulfilling and illustrious life. He was very worldly and provided sage advice on everything from teaching his children and grandchildren manners and respect. Dad was a very straightforward man who demanded little from those around him and expected only the best from all of his children that he provided for and loved unconditionally. Provided that he heard regularly from his loved ones and saw us whenever possible, he was very content. And although in his final years, knowing that his children were living in several parts of the United States with their respective beloved family they were raising and providing for, whether it was in Alaska, Hawaii, or the great state of Oregon, the bond was never broken. So Dad's life presented many lessons and shining examples that set a very high bar for those he embraced lovingly in his life to meet and exceed. So, the first is, which is very true, Dad was a very devout Catholic. Very devout. I had the good fortune and pleasure to travel to Rome, to the Vatican City, and I brought Dad back a rosary that was blessed by Pope Benedict. And that was one of his treasured inanimate objects that he had with him. He really, really embraced that and appreciated the thought behind it. But just to give you an idea of how devout he was, he had his own prayer bench, the ones that the cardinals have at the Vatican. And we learned at a very early age not to disturb him when he went into communion. It was his time. He was very spiritually connected to God. And when it was time for him to commune with God, we did not disturb him. That was his time. And I'm sure he did I'm sure everyone here in this room and beyond, he offered his prayers of love and support for everyone. The biggest lesson that I wanted to impart on this first point is that in my dad's life, it was always God and family first and foremost. The other significant item that I believe what Father mentioned, and also my brother and others know of him, is that he was a very, very hard worker. He really believed that it had to be really in your blood, and he was very proud of that. That it was important for you to go out there, ply your trade, and earn your keep. And he was very proud in being a provider for his family and loved ones. I have a real quick story. I call it the pancake story. So when we were young, we split time between me and my sisters and brothers. We split time between being raised in Hawaii and in Northern California, my mom's side of the family. So our maternal grandparents who are Samoan also partly raised us. So the education system was better in California at the time. Ronald Reagan was president of the United States, by the way. So the education system was much better during the early 80s at the time. So rather than mom and dad pay for a private school tuition, why not get a good education by sending them to get a public school education in California? So that's what they did. So they sent us over to the Bay Area, and when mom and dad would visit us in California before they went to Vegas. They would swing by, visit us in the Bay Area, and sometimes come to school with me and my siblings. So one morning, mom and dad accompanied me to the elementary school, Sylvia Cassell Elementary, and stood in line with us. That morning, we had pancakes and sausages for breakfast. So mom and dad accompanies me, sits me down, and dad starts cutting my pancakes. Mom starts pouring the syrup. No sooner did I have a chance to say, "Thank you, Dad," he was nowhere around. He was at the other kids' table, at the other kids' trays, cutting every single one of the kids' pancakes for them. And he didn't even know who they were. So that says a lot about Dad as a human being. So what is the lesson out of that? Is to love more beyond just your family. Dad provided love to others that he didn't even know any of these other kids. But then for myself and my siblings, that made us very proud to say that he was our dad. Just something, a simple, small thing as an act of kindness as that. So. In keeping this short and sweet, at the request of family and others. So as you can see, they did pare it down quite a bit. So I will honor that too.
You're welcome, everyone.
I digress. So we'll wrap it up here. Okay. I think this is important to say because I see my older brother over here, Tony. I love Manu Abi, my older brother Abraham, my older brother Junior here, Rizalde over there on that side, my beautiful sister Elizabeth over here, the Rita, of course, and others. Excuse me. I'm doing the eulogy. Okay. So, anyways, excuse me. Tony shared with me a story about. He shared with me a story, a fun factory story. So I'm going to let him tell the story, but the point of that story is for my dad. Of what happened in that instant was when Dad says something, say what you mean what you say. And I'll leave Tony to share that story when you get a chance to visit with him after. Okay. A couple more things real quick. Okay. All right, here we go. Final things. Final things, because I think Dad would love for all of you to know this about him too. Dad was a devoted family man. He provided unwavering love, guidance, and support for everyone in his family. I mentioned also that he's a very devout Catholic. Dad was very spiritually connected and very proud of his faith in the Holy Trinity. And his faith in God was strong. Okay. Dad had a Bruce Lee t-shirt. You mentioned that, right? So Dad lovingly had a Bruce Lee t-shirt on a wire hanger that he used to hang in his closet growing up. That was one of his prized possessions. He loved martial arts. He loved boxing. He loved WWF, old school WWF wrestling, not the new one. He liked the old school WWF wrestling, especially his Japanese tag team, Jumping Bomb Angels. But, yeah. But Dad loved his Bruce Lee t-shirt that he actually hung a t-shirt with his postal uniform in the closet and wore his Bruce Lee t-shirt proudly at family gatherings and so forth. So I thought that was significant to share. Also, Dad loved old school country music. So this Filipino man who loves, we got Tammy Wynette, Hank Williams Sr., all of the old school classics. He loved that. As you know, he's a proud employee and retired of the U.S. Postal Service. As you see here, when you visited him, he's adorned with his Postal Service uniform at his request. Dad was a homebody, and his time was singularly devoted to his family. He didn't go really to the chicken fights. He didn't go play Pupito. It was no judging. He was all about his family. Just to give you and to wrap this up here, as I said, just so you understood, so with my mom worked at Shriners Hospital in Honolulu for many years. Her work schedule was, she got up in the morning at 4:35 in the morning. We lived on the west side of Oahu. That's a long drive. To beat traffic, she had to get up especially early. So her work schedule had her work from 6 till 3. My dad worked from 1 o'clock, 12 noon. He would leave at 12 noon, start at the post office at 1, get home at 10. So from Monday through Friday, my mom and dad didn't see each other. The only time they saw each other was when they were asleep. Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday is when my parents actually saw each other. Sunday was always family time for us to go to Kailua for Mass. Every Sunday. Saturday was a time for family time, or if my parents were going to spend time with their friends, because they treasured their friendships. And that's another lesson that was imparted to us, because my brothers and sisters, we have a lot of friends. We treasure them to the point where they're